All right. Hello, howdy, hi, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Curtis Doaniak, and I am a team lead at Deltek Replicon for the webinars. And today I am going to be your host and guide in our webinar about transforming project time tracking for professional services organizations and unlocking efficiency with AI. So today, this webinar is brought to you by Deltek Replicon in partnership with SAP, and we have a host of excellent speakers today for you. First, we will have Ice Chan. She is the Global Business Development Lead at SAP Professional Services Industry. Hi, Ice. Give a little wave for everyone. And we also have Scott Bales. He is our Senior Director of Solutions Engineering at Deltek Replicon. A little wave from Scott. Thank you. Thank you. We are going to be turning our cameras off for the presentation part of the webinar, but don't worry, we will be back. You will see our faces at the very end when we answer your questions in the Q&A. So speaking of agenda today, we have done introductions. We will also be taking a peek and led through a section on global trends by ICE. Then we're going to hop over to SAP and Deltek Replicon Professional Services with Scott. Then they're going to lead you through a little talk on AI-powered time capture. I know AI is a huge topic and everyone wants to find out more, so Scott is going to deliver that for you. And then we will finally talk about the future of AI-powered time capture. So with that, you've heard enough of me talking. I'm going to pass things off to Ice. We're going to pop our videos off and we'll continue with the webinar.
Thank you, Curtis. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Ai Chen from the SAP Professional Services Industry team, and I drive the industry cloud topic for the professional services industry globally. I'm sure you would agree with the omnipresence of artificial intelligence in our discussions, in our industry, and indeed in our daily lives. AI is at the forefront of every conversation, driving innovation and reshaping the way we work. So as suggested by the title of today's webinar, Unlocking Efficiency with AI. The potential of AI is staggering. It's about fundamentally transforming how we approach business. Actually, Gartner predicted by 2026, over 80% of enterprises will harness the power of AI. And at SAP, we share the same vision. So what we see is that AI is going to have a massive impact in two aspects: on both the types of services that our customers can deliver, enhance and allow them to find new and innovative ways to deliver their services, and at the same time, the processes that they're using internally, helping them to be more effective and utilize their processes alongside with our SAP solutions and partner solutions. So AI isn't just a tool, it's a catalyst for change. It's about how we are uncovering insights that were previously hidden. And if we look at our global trends in the professional services industry, as we all know, not just talking about the pro-serve industry, the pandemic has really changed the way how businesses work, and so has pro-serve firms. From a really face-to-face business, employees who have to fly to customer site for presentations, like what we are doing today, virtual meetings, more of digital format, moving from only focusing on local customers to expanding it into a global business coverage. So firms are prioritizing how to automate business processes and empower their people to operate seamlessly across geographies, offering flexibility with top-notch technology. And to stay ahead, firms must at the same time invest in holistic talent development to attract the best and brightest. But what we are seeing now is that there is a huge war for talent. It has been around for quite some time since COVID started. We see people leaving the workforce and not coming back, so there's a huge gap of what the people have and what is needed. And this actually forced the firms into rethinking their HR models for better adaptability to drastic workforce demand shifts. And in the past, companies are having a really structured employee pyramid with employee full-times, you would see based in headquarters, based in regional offices. So now companies are recruiting hybrid talents, including, you say, full-time employees, freelancers, contractors, etc. So it's really important for companies to have the best technology to attract and retain talent. And as digital disruption accelerates and customer expectations evolve, we see the traditional boundaries between industries are fading away. And traditionally, for professional services firms, so we are known for providing a service and then getting paid for that service. But now what we see is that firms try to productize services, trainings, package this up, and then sell this as an everything as a service model. So it's not so much focus on the delivering time and material engagement, but then rather finding ways to bundle services, like having subscription pays so that they would have recurring revenues on top of the services dollars. Well, what we are telling all of these is exactly telling us the integration of AI is essential for maintaining a competitive edge. So if we look closer into our end-to-end value chain for a professional services firms, this is where the integration of AI is actually benefiting across every step of the supply chain, starting from sell and plan. So AI could revolutionize client interactions by personalizing engagements based on historical data and real-time insights. Well, imagine if AI could help you with bidding estimates while improving your ability to win opportunities, reduce risk, making sure that they are more likely to be profitable. And if we move into setup and staff, it's really about finding the right people at all times, no matter they are finding it externally or internally, which AI algorithms can streamline resource allocation by analyzing factors such as workload, CVs, skill sets, project requirements, role requests, etc., which firms can maximize their productivity and ensure that optimal utilization of their talent. And then we have the delivery side. We see a lot of opportunity around proactively capturing time and expenses. So for professional services firms, time is a really key resource in today's service-oriented economy. For every 10,000 employees, large service organizations have 20.8 million project hours. And then imagine that you have to track every billable minute spent by their employees. So what AI could do is to identify potential bottlenecks, proactively address these challenges, and the professionals can ensure that they get timely and efficient service delivered. And on the tail end, we have the manage and build side of things. So there's a lot of other opportunities in regards to managing WIP and billing and being able to accurately keep track of all the actuals that could help with the revenue leakage. And with all that said, today, what ProStar firms really need is a complete end-to-end solution to run their business. And firms are really looking into consolidating their IT infrastructure and reducing the number of systems, vendors that they're working with. And what SAP and our industry cloud partners are really covering every step of our client's need. On the left, if we try to visualize our approach, the cloud core ERP lies at the core and surrounded by our industry-specific and line of business solutions. And in collaboration with our partner ecosystem, representing in the outer circle, as you can see, which is our industry cloud solutions. And of course, at the backbone, we have our business technology platform offerings. And on the right, what you see is a typical professional services firm lead to cash process look like. With our blue boxes, that represents our SAP Intelligence Suite offering. The orange boxes are the industry cloud, be it SAP or partner industry cloud offerings. The green ones are extensions. And in a minute, what you're going to see is how our industry cloud solution come into the fold and play a key role in delivering an end-to-end solution. And today, what we would like to focus on is Deltek Replicon. So Deltek Replicon is specializing in time tracking for services organizations, which involves entering time against a specific project. And as said before, in professional services firms, it's really common for resources to bill time to a specific project. But then actually this process can be very time intensive and cumbersome in nature. But what Deltek Replicon is able to do is that they allows companies to manage their time more effectively and ensure that you're not only capturing and billing for every hour at work, but then you do so in a compliant manner. Well, with that said, I would like to hand it over to Scott to walk us through Delta Replicon.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ice, and thank you everybody that's taken time today to watch the webinar and attend. We appreciate it. What I want to take some time now doing is going into AI and how it specifically is going to apply to time capture, obviously a key element in any professional services organization. As your workforce is increasing, your time tracking is always becoming more complex, more users, more hours available for billing, etc. The traditional ways of time tracking have become inadequate for organizations. And we've also seen an explosion of devices, work management products, and tools in the modern day. Currently, most professional services firms are dependent on manual time tracking. That's not to say paper-based, but users indicating each and every hour that they remember they worked on customer engagements or non-billable projects. This can prevent the ability to see budgets versus spend in real time. Billable hours end up getting missed, and then we have invoice hours that contribute to inaccurate billing. Obviously, all of these elements themselves contribute to a loss of revenue. The routine of modern workers can definitely be overwhelming, and it falls into several categories. Workers can be frequently toggling between spreadsheets, documentation, and other apps, such as Teams, Calendar, Outlook, Excel, or they may be entering their time across multiple applications and duplicating their time entry because there are two systems that need to consume that data or more. Or they invest significant time in customer interactions, needing to switch back between phone and browser and working directly with customers, as well as working on documentation to support those calls. And that can lead to a lot of confusion, a lot of lost potential hours, because they're just not able to track that time efficiently. Are all these employees' time being captured accurately? Most likely not. And if they are, they're being tracked in a terribly inefficient mechanism through Post-its and notebooks and Excel spreadsheets that all have to be brought together manually at the end of the timesheet period. This is going to take a big toll on your employee productivity because it's difficult to know how much time they're spending on each specific app, how much time they're spending with each specific customer, and they have to manually remember all of these tasks to measure their work week. So your employees end up lacking motivation to track time, and they face constant reminders to fill in timesheets, leading to delayed approval cycles. And then those delayed approval cycles lead to delayed invoicing, and that can impact your client billing. With the need to access multiple systems for tracking project tasks, timesheets, booking time off, there's lots of inefficiencies in that process. This is going to result in ultimately in inaccurate data when data is crucial for project success and real-time visibility. Without that, you're really hampering your proactive business decisions within your organization. So now let's take a look at how AI within project time tracking can bring a future-facing state to eliminating those inefficiencies and increasing accuracy. You can actually empower your users with AI, and you can transform their time tracking completely, ensuring 100% accurate time and work data if you leverage an AI-powered timesheet. It is possible to automatically collect employee time data from collaboration and productivity tools from Microsoft, Google, Zoom, Jira, Slack, Asana, Adobe, and more. All of that time information for your employees is in your ecosystem already, but we're still asking them to manually type it in to yet another system. This data is harvested via an AI time tracking solution that can use machine learning to collate and incorporate all of this data into a pre-filled timesheet format. All this automates the process of collection, collation, and timesheet creation, helps your employees effortlessly generate a timesheet. We've seen significant success with some organizations today that are leveraging AI. So let's talk about a couple of them. The first is a Big Four consulting firm. They leveraged AI. They leveraged an AI-powered timesheet to maximize their employee productivity. Previously, employees faced challenges managing time due to constant app switching. They were spending significant time on reviews and responses, and they didn't have clear visibility into time allocation. Now, with an AI-powered timesheet, they automated that capture across various work applications, and they're benefiting from the improved efficiency while upholding their privacy-first policy, safeguarding sensitive data. The other is a large IT organization where we had product developers and QA engineers juggling work apps. Time tracking became a tedious task for them. They were manually inputting their time spent on various tasks in multiple systems. This led to duplication and missed entries. However, when they implemented an AI-powered timesheet, things changed dramatically for them. Now, their time is automatically captured in the systems they're working in Jira and Visual Studio and other applications that are used. And this eliminated duplication of entry and ensured 100% accuracy because there's no manual entries. As a result, the product development team now actually has more time to focus on their work rather than worrying about time entry. It's essential to remain proactive and foresee the transformative impact that AI is going to have on revolutionizing project time tracking. So let's dive into the potential avenues. We can explore how AI is set to unlock more efficiency and productivity for project-based organizations. As these organizations prioritize higher employee utilization, AI emerges as a crucial ally in achieving this goal, seamlessly collaborating with humans to drive efficiency. Now, with advanced algorithms, it delves deep into employee work patterns. It can decode how they allocate time and complete their tasks, but it doesn't stop there. AI also provides personalized recommendations tailored to enhance time tracking and productivity. What's truly remarkable is that AI models continually adapt and refine themselves, and this ensures recommendations remain pertinent, from recognizing patterns to predicting future actions based on historical data and user preferences. AI and time tracking are reshaping the way projects are managed. Join us on this journey with SAP and Replicon as we unite our expertise, harnessing AI and emerging technologies to shape the future of professional services. The partnership between SAP and Replicon, combining two top-tier platforms, instills absolute confidence in customers' investment decisions. Together, SAP and Replicon empower organizations to elevate time into a strategic asset. This collaboration enables organizations to transition from disparate systems to a unified AI-powered platform for time tracking. Addressing numerous use cases across various service organizations, we deliver a single source of truth for time capture, covering billable projects, internal initiatives, payroll and absences organization-wide. With connectivity to multiple platforms, our clients experience accelerated time to value, widespread employee adoption and satisfaction, reduced revenue leakage, and increased operational efficiency. So with that, we'll wrap the presentation portion of today's webinar. And Curtis, I'll hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. And I'm going to invite Ice and Scott to turn their cameras back on for the Q&A portion. So it does look like we've had a few questions streaming in here. Quite a few technical questions and one more kind of overarching theme question. So we'll start with the overarching question. I'll pass it off to you, Ice. But the first question is, how does the increasing demand for AI integration, both internally and externally, impact the landscape of professional services?
Well, the increasing demand for AI integration, I would say, would be profoundly impacting the professional services landscape. And we will split it into two parts. Internally, we're seeing that AI is becoming the cornerstone for operational excellence. So, as we also mentioned in the webinar today, that firms are deploying AI-powered solutions to automate repetitive tasks. They optimize resource allocations and extract actionable insights from vast data sets. So what we are seeing is that firms are enabling their staffs to streamline their operational tasks and focusing their human capital on high value activities. And on the other side is also about externally. So clients of professional services firms are increasingly seeking AI-driven solutions to address their prospects' complex challenges. So these clients, be it they are the IT services, consulting audit tax companies, so all of them are really trying to expect their service providers to leverage AI to deliver enhanced value and outcomes. And I would say, all in all, what we see is that this trend is really reshaping business model, and AI is driving innovation and transforming the way how professional services firms are delivering their service as well as internally consuming AI.
Awesome. Thank you, Ice. Yeah, lots to think about for people and how AI is going to be shaping things in the time to come. If anyone has any follow-up questions too, feel free to submit them at the bottom and we'll get to as many as we can during the Q&A. We do have a string of technical questions, so I'm going to spin things over to you, Scott. First, how is AI going to collect data for time entries that aren't listed in a calendar?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the reality of that is that all of this data sits in systems outside of your calendar. Yes, your calendar is one source of data, but the good news is most of these systems are open and most of these systems have APIs today. So if we think about Outlook calendars, Gmail calendars, Slack, Zoom, and others, the reality is that these systems have an open APIs, and collectors have the ability to go in and gather data related to the activity itself, the timing of the activity, and all of that serves as inputs to a timesheet so that users don't have to manually enter those hours. So you're not limited to a calendar. And in fact, over and above that, you're not limited to cloud-based applications either, right? We actually have desktop capabilities that can track that information for on-premise applications as well.
Perfect. So I think this next question is a little bit of a follow-up to that. If a user spends 20 minutes on Salesforce cleaning up account information or housekeeping accounts, will that time be recorded?
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely will. And this is a great example of that missing time that people aren't accounting for. They spend 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there doing menial tasks or cleanup work, and that time isn't accounted for when it comes to the end of the week or the end of the month. And now you've got 2-3 hours of potentially billable time that isn't being accounted for. And so through browser extensions, you actually have the ability to capture those hours and the applications or web pages that you're in, so that can transition to a web or timesheet, an AI-powered timesheet. So 100% of your hours are allocated for.
Thanks, Scott. So in the same line of questioning, it looks like we have a lot of people curious about how things will be collected. How is data collected from on-premises applications?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so that desktop widget that I mentioned is able to be installed on Windows machines, Apple Macs. So what we're capturing in those situations is actual efforts being put into applications that you're working on locally on your machine. Not only the application, but potentially the naming of the file that you're accessing and other metadata related to the file. This is, of course, driven and protected by the user who's interacting with the widget to say, hey, these are the things I want to track. These are the things I do not want to track. And all of that information is accumulated and provided back to an AI-powered timesheet to be leveraged as time capture and prevent duplicate entry. Now, if there's tools and applications that are specific or custom to your organization, they can still be tracked from a local widget perspective. So there's no reason for any data to have to be manually entered to a timesheet going forward.
Awesome, makes sense. So we do have another question. Will the user always have to go in and make sure that there's no open items for them because the machine would be constantly learning, correct?
True, but there's a couple of considerations. If you think about the learning curve at first, the machine learning will be asking for a lot of feedback as it's capturing data from these other systems. It's going to start to eventually make some assumptions or hypotheses about these entries. So we have lots of blocks of time coming into an AI timesheet, and the system is going to say, hey, this looks like this project, this looks like this client. And sure enough, after it's been validated, it no longer needs to ask you. It can just simply automatically attribute that client and that project. But as new projects and clients are found, it may look for confirmation, but it will ramp very quickly, especially if you have standardized file naming and standardized meeting requests. It will start to learn not only that, hey, this name in the meeting is this client, but it can also look at, hey, the first 12 characters of these meetings is always the client. So now it doesn't have to prompt you anymore. So it's exciting to think about where we can go with the capabilities of an AI timesheet and how easy we can make time capture for users.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. It looks like we do have a lot more technical questions rolling in. For these, it might be better if we reach out to everyone directly. So I think we'll wrap it here, but don't worry, we will be in touch. And if you need to be in touch, there's lots of ways you can contact us. One, you can request a virtual meeting. Also, if you want to see Scott and Ice in person, you can see them at SAP Sapphire on June 3rd in Orlando. We will also be reading our messages in marketing@replicon.com. And if you'd like, you can also visit us at www.replicon.com/contact-us/. So lots of ways to get in touch. And if you want to hear more from Scott and Ice, yes, they will be at SAP Sapphire. And otherwise, yeah, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Ice, for spending some time and explaining the future of AI. And yeah, we really do appreciate everyone's time. We always appreciate coming to join us. And we hope to hear from you soon. So take care and enjoy the rest of your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.